Somewhere between age 6 and age 22, the education system taught you 14 years of things. And not once, not a single time, did anyone sit you down and explain the one thing that will determine whether you spend your entire adult life comfortable or quietly terrified every time you check your bank account. You know how to find the area of a triangle. You know the powerhouse of the cell is the mitochondria. You know what a fronted adverbial is, whatever that means. But you don't know what happens to your money when it just sits in your bank account doing nothing. You don't know why saving money isn't actually enough. You don't know why some people with average salaries end up fine, and some people with great salaries end up broke. And nobody told you any of this. On purpose or by accident, it doesn't matter. The result is the same. You showed up to adulthood completely unprepared for the one game you have to play every single day forever. So today we're fixing that. But before we do, I need to tell you something that's going to make you slightly uncomfortable. Not because you overspent, not because you made a bad decision, because your money is sitting in a bank account, and bank accounts have a secret. The money inside them is rotting. This is called inflation. Every year, automatically, silently, whether you like it or not, the value of your money drops by about 2 to 3%. Prices go up. Your money buys less. $1,000 today will buy you noticeably less stuff in 5 years than it does right now. Your money is being eaten alive while you sleep, while you scroll, while you watch this video right now. And the terrifying part is, everyone knows to save money. Nobody tells you that saving alone is like bailing out a sinking boat with a teaspoon. The boat is still sinking. Saving is the floor. And most people spend their entire lives on the floor because nobody told them there was a ceiling. But here's where it gets interesting, because before I tell you what the ceiling is, you need to know something about yourself that you probably don't want to know. Go ahead, answer it. Most people say, rent, food, bills, maybe something fun. Here's what actually happens. Rent, food, the Netflix you use, the Spotify you use, the other streaming service you forgot you had, the one you signed up for that free trial on and never canceled, the food delivery fee on top of the food you already paid for, the app that charged you annually so quietly you missed it 3 years in a row, the gym membership, which at this point is in better shape than you are, and then something fun. The gap between what people think they spend and what they actually spend is usually somewhere between embarrassing and genuinely life-altering. And the reason nobody closes this gap is because they try to fix it with a budgeting app. Budgeting apps are where good intentions go to die. You download one, feel incredibly responsible, track 3 days of spending, and then forget it exists forever. The app sits on your phone as a monument to the person you were going to become. Therefore, don't do that. The actual fix is so simple it's almost insulting. Once a month. Just once. Open your bank statement. Look at it. That's the entire strategy. You're not tracking in real time. You're not categorizing every coffee. You're just reading history. Your brain can handle history. And every single person who does this for the first time finds at least 2 or 3 things they're paying for that they cancel immediately and never miss. But knowing where money went is only one half of the problem. The other half is deciding where it should go before it disappears. And this is where most people's entire financial life changes in about 60 seconds. Every financial system ever created, every book, every course, every person on the internet with a ring light and a whiteboard pretending this is complicated. It is all just a version of 3 buckets. Bucket 1, living, rent, food, transport, utilities. Everything required for you to exist as a functioning human. This should be no more than 50% of what you make. If it's more than 50 right now, stop blaming your coffee. The problem is either your income or your location. And now you know the actual problem, which means you can actually solve it, instead of cutting lattes and wondering why nothing ever changes. Bucket 2. The future. Savings, emergency fund, investments, retirement, everything future. You is going to desperately need when present. You is no longer able to work 24 hours a day. This should be at least 20%. But here's the part that changes everything about whether this actually works. Move this money the exact second your paycheck arrives, not at the end of the month, not when you see what's left over. The moment. It lands. Automate it if you can. Because, and this is the psychological trick that makes the whole system work, the money you never see is the money you never spend. Your brain cannot miss what it never had access to. This isn't discipline. This is psychology. And it works on every single person who tries it, including people who are catastrophically bad with money. Bucket 3, actually being alive. Because you already handled the other 2 buckets. The reason spending money feels terrible for most people isn't because they spend too much. It's because they spend first and try to save whatever's left, which is always nothing. Always. Flip that order. Save first, spend what remains. And spending money on yourself stops feeling like a crime, because it isn't one anymore. This is called paying yourself first. It is the closest thing to a cheat code that personal finance will ever give you. Therefore, most people do the exact opposite every month of their lives. Okay, now the part you've been waiting for since the title of this video, the part everyone skips to, the part that sounds the most exciting and is actually the most misunderstood thing in personal finance. Here's investing without the complicated language. You give your money to something, a company, a fund, real estate. It grows over time. Your money grows with it. You end up with more than you started. That's it. That's investing. That's the whole thing. The reason this matters more than any other financial decision you will ever make is something called compound interest. If you invest $1,000 today, 7% average return, and you leave it completely alone for 30 years, you end up with $7,500. You did nothing. You made no decisions. You watched no charts. You talked to no financial advisors. You just waited. The money made money. And then that money made more money. And then that money made more money. And here's the part that should genuinely upset you a little bit. The earlier you start, the more obscene the numbers get. Which means every single year you wait to start investing is a year of compounding you will never get back. Ever. Therefore, the most important decision in investing is not which stock to pick. It's not which platform to use. It's not which expert to listen to. It's starting. Now. Today. With whatever you have. The second most important thing, and this is where most people destroy themselves, is not panicking when the market drops. Because it will drop. Dramatically. Multiple times. That's not a crisis. That's just how markets work. They drop and they recover. Every single time in history they have recovered. The people who turn temporary losses into permanent ones are the people who panic, sell everything, and lock in a loss that would have fixed itself if they'd just waited. You don't need to be smart to invest. You need to be patient. And boring. And slightly indifferent to things that feel urgent but aren't. Which, and I'm not going to lie to you, is genuinely harder than being smart. So here's the map, the one nobody gave you. Look at where your money actually goes. Once a month, just look. No app required. Split what you make. 50 to live. 20 to the future, 30 to actually enjoy being alive. Move the future bucket the moment you get paid, before your brain knows it's there. And put that future bucket somewhere it can grow, because inflation is silently eating the version that just sits there. That's it. That's what 14 years of education didn't have time for. The people quietly panicking about money every month aren't panicking because they're irresponsible. They're panicking because nobody handed them this. You just got handed this. The only question now is whether you do anything with it. And the people who actually do, the ones who open the bank statement tonight, move 20% tomorrow morning, and start something small this week instead of waiting until they have more. Those people aren't geniuses. They just decided that knowing something and doing nothing about it was the most expensive decision they could make. Open it. And if you want to understand exactly what to do with that 20% once you have it, what to actually invest in, how to start without losing everything, and why most investment advice is designed to confuse you on purpose, that's what this video is for.